The mid-range shot has been iconic in the NBA for a few reasons. These include the players that have dominated with this specific skill, the athleticism or finesse it takes to push the ball over the outstretched arms of the opponent, and the beauty behind a simple yet effective shot. As the NBA's history unfolded, fans witnessed the rise of many pillars of the mid-range. From MJ to Kobe, to Dirk, CP3, and KD, that list continues to add new names to its historic group. However, as the game shifted to a more modern style, the conversations, whether it be members of the NBA media or fans of the league, also shifted. Many thought this shot was beginning to fade away. The three-point shot took over as the Golden State Warriors began their dynastic run in 2015. The hype around shooting as many threes as possible really budded anew with a different team, however, the Houston Rockets. With Mike D'Antoni's vision of a three-pointer or attack the basket alongside the emergence of Harden as a superstar, for a time it seemed like the shift to that specific style of play was promising, but it was incomplete. The majority of us witnessed the Rockets fall short time and time again, some instances due to injury and others due to the system falling apart. The Warriors, however, were still strong, and yes, part of that is because of KD's decision to leave OKC for Golden State. But after battling with Cleveland for years in the finals, it proved to the league that while the three is a necessity to keep up with the quick scoring of today's game, the mid-range shot should not be forgotten. Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Shaun Livingston, David West, and others showed how it can be used in key moments on the biggest stage. It was already known that guys like KD and Livingston, for example, have excelled from mid-range for years, but the three-point shot was becoming such a desire that other styles of play were often put on the back burner, at least in conversation. However, it didn't affect the entire league the same. There were still those teams such as the Spurs that stuck to their ways for as long as they could. And later in 2019, Kawhi led the Raptors to their first ring and was feasting from the mid-range. Fast forward to the NBA bubble in 2020, and there still were guys in the finals proving why a mid-range shot is important. Specifically, Anthony Davis had a dominant presence, partially because of his efficiency from mid-range. Even the most recent finals showcase high-level scorers that can get a bucket from the middy at will. Scoring down low is important, hitting threes is important, but when those options are cut off and you need to create a shot for your team, the only real option besides passing is the mid-range. But it's not always just simply a mid-range shot. Not every player is taking MJ's turnarounds and fadeaways. Instead, the smaller players typically prefer a floater. Guys like Steph, Trae, and Luka are all lethal with their floaters from a decent distance and use it when their options are limited. Without this skill in their arsenal, they would be less of a threat as a scorer. Obviously, the three ball is what separates a guy like Steph from the rest of the pack, but having some form of mid-range creates even more chaos on the defense, opening up more opportunity for your team. Knowing this now, as we look back to the Rockets and their attempts to trump Golden State, they did have players creating from the mid-range. Harden has developed a deadly floater throughout his time in the league, and when Chris Paul was healthy and not facilitating or shooting from deep, he was his usual mid-range assassin self. And while this is all well and good, it still doesn't erase the fact that they missed 27 straight threes in Game 7 of the 2018 Western Conference Finals. A game that could have changed NBA history forever and lifted Harden and the Rockets to a new level. But with CP3 injured, D'Antoni stuck to the system and to the integrity of the team, which no one can disrespect. But now looking at today's league and towards the future, I can say with confidence, the mid-range shot is here to stay. And while it might not be the iconic MJ or Kobe-esque shot, scoring from the mid-range in any fashion is vital. I'm Zara Archer. Thanks for watching.